and set it going. So, what happened? I still felt cold, though the radiators were on. You could hear the water gurgling in the pipes. He phoned me in my car. He said he was going to Reigate, and he asked me if I wanted to follow him up. Tilney watched me, not looking away much. A thin man with glasses and ginger hair and pale freckled hands, straight out of some red-brick university, you would have said, the science department. We'd been in this bloody place for years, he and I, and we got on well enough, even when the signals room was running hot. He asked you to follow him up. Had he tried to phone you before at your flat or anywhere? I don't know, I said. I mean, how important was it to him? Did he sound worried? He just said it offhand. But he must have been expecting some sort of attack, to have asked you to follow him up. I didn't want to talk about it, but it was no use telling him that. Not necessarily attack, perhaps surveillance. Wanted to know if there were any ticks on his tail. Tilney looked at me. McCain was a top shadow. He didn't need anyone to help him find out if he was being surveilled. All right, that he was expecting someone to try killing him, if you like. I don't know. How can I? Tilney looked away. He knew the score now. McCain had thought someone was liable to have a go at him, and he'd asked me to cover his rear, and I'd done that. But I hadn't done it well enough, and he'd ended up in a burning car, and I was trying to think of some way of ever getting any sleep again. What actually happened? Tilney asked quietly. He was about 100 yards in front of me most of the time, and just this side of Red Hill, when we were on a straight stretch, another car came up from behind me and went past like a bat out of hell and cut across McCain's bows, and he swerved and went into the trees, and the tank burst and the whole thing went up. Tilney's eyes were wandering around the cluttered room. He would have been wearing a seat belt, and therefore wasn't thrown clear, and the fire started so fast that you didn't have a chance of reaching him in time. Wasn't that it? There was nothing you could have done, obviously. He was watching me again now. I should have been ready for it. Tilney looked down, folding his pale hands on the desk beside the tape recorder. It's going on record that, in my opinion, and from what you've described, there was quite clearly nothing you could have done to help McCain last night. I left it. The other car, I said, kept on going. They hit the brakes once. I was waiting for them to turn and come back and make sure they'd done the job. But when they saw the tank go up, they must have known he hadn't got a chance. What kind of car did they have? A dark Mercedes. I didn't see much of it. I was watching McCain's. Of course. And then you phoned signals? Yes. I told them to pass it on to whoever was running him. I didn't know it was Shatner. Did anyone... He stopped, tilting his head. There'd been the slam of a door. He picked up the intercom phone, and I waited, my body heavy in the worn leather chair, my eyes wanting to close. But I wasn't going to catch up on my sleep until I'd seen Shatner. There was only one thing, really, I could do that would get me at least some of the way out of this appalling sense of guilt, almost of betrayal, and Shatner could help me do it. But I'd have to be very careful. You just come in? Tilney was saying on the phone. Listen, there's some things on the desk in the storeroom downstairs, the one next to clearance. They're in some newspaper. You'll see what they are. I want you to deal with them. He put the phone down and looked at me and asked, Did you get any instructions to blot out McCain's identity for us? Blot out? I could feel the cold going through to the bone. No, I did it as a matter of routine. McCain had been a high-echelon shadow executive, and when one of us hits the ground, there's immediate smoke put out. We are known to a dozen major intelligence networks, and whether a given agent is alive or dead is strictly our own business. The essence of intelligence is secrecy, of all and any kind. You were there all night, Tilney said, and waited. The yellow pencil he'd picked up to play with was nibbled almost down to the lead, but I'd never seen him at it. The crash was soon after 9.